Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainer, author of the Perception Diet, and today we are here with the latest episode of Real Talk for Lightworkers, where we're going to talk about why you can't do the self-love path wrong. Okay, so this is a really exciting video, and I am very excited to make it for you. And, okay, in this video, we're going to go a little bit into semantics and a little bit into detail about what the self-love path is, what the self-improvement path is, why you can't do the self-improvement or the self-love path wrong, why the self-improvement path makes you believe that you can do it wrong, and why, if we're really doing this self-love path, it's not a rejection of the self-improvement path, it's an evolution of the self-improvement path. Okay, so in the past you've heard me say that the self-improvement path and the self-love path are two different paths that never intersect. And what I mean by this, okay, is that the self-improvement path that is built upon the foundation that there's something fundamentally wrong with you, that you are not allowed to like, accept, or approve of yourself until this thing is fixed, is what will never turn into the self-love path. Meaning, so long as you are holding on to a belief system that tells you that who and what you are is fundamentally flawed, and you're working to fix the thing that's fundamentally flawed about you, you will never feel self-love. Okay? So this is what I mean when I say that the self-improvement path will never turn into the self-love path. It's so long as you want to hold on to the idea that there's something fundamentally broken about you. And to understand this too, that, right, the self-love path doesn't mean that you now believe that there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that you are willing to explore that perhaps there isn't something wrong with you. That perhaps all the things that you think are wrong with you are just messengers of other things that you're misunderstanding, and that it's not that there's something fundamentally flawed about you, but that there may be something fundamentally flawed about the environment you're in and what you're doing and the results that you're getting, all of this, okay? So it's not to say that to be on the self-love path, you think that you're perfect. It's to say that you believe that your fundamental nature is good, and you are looking to figure out how your fundamental nature is good, what your fundamental nature is, and how to live in alignment with that. That's what the self-love path is. So the self-improvement path that tells you that there is something fundamentally broken about you, and until these things are fixed, you're not allowed to love yourself. That is what I mean when I say that that self-improvement path will never turn into self-love. You're never going to fix yourself enough so long as you have a fundamental core belief about yourself that you're broken in order to like yourself. That's what that means. You're never going to improve yourself enough. You're never going to change enough. You're never going to grow enough to get to a point where you finally give yourself permission to love you, until you finally just give yourself permission to love you where you're at right now. That's what I mean by that, okay? So the next thing to understand is that when we are moving from the self-improvement path to the self-love path, we're not rejecting absolutely everything that the self-improvement path taught in order to be on the self-love path, right? So we're not saying, whoa, I'm completely broken and completely messed up, to I'm completely perfect, nothing needs to change. No, okay? This is where we need to understand that evolving ideas, coming into truth, coming into reality, means that we are building upon that which we saw before by adding more information to it. So we're not rejecting this thing for this new thing, because that's just keeping the same amount of information. You see, if we reject old information to take in new information, we didn't actually take in new information. We still have the same amount of information. We just got rid of this stuff and now have this stuff, replaced it with this stuff. And we need to understand that consciousness awakening is taking in more information and adding it to what you already had. It's taking that which was less complex and making it more complex. So what we really want to think of this is that the self-love path is an addition to the self-improvement path. It's more complex, closer to ultimate truth, because ultimate truth contains everything in its rightful place. So where the self-improvement path is correct is that things need to change. Yes, it is correct in understanding that life changes, it evolves, it grows, it expands, it becomes something new. Where it's getting confused, where it's chaotic, is in saying that this growth means that who and what I was before was wrong and bad. Yes? Self-love says, true self-love is not saying I'm perfect, nothing needs to change. It's saying, no, I'm going to be growing, learning, and changing for the rest of my life. However, it doesn't mean I was wrong before. Okay? So the next evolution that we want to look at when we're looking at the self-love path versus the self-improvement path, as in built upon the self-improvement path, is the self-improvement path says, these external things have to happen before I can love myself. There are goals, there are things that need to occur. And on the other side of these things, I can love myself. The point is to achieve these results, and then I can love myself. The self-love path is an evolution on that. It's saying, okay, I still want these results. I still want happiness. I still want fulfillment. I still want a career that I can love. I still want to feel great inside my body. I still want an awesome relationship. All of that still is there. I still want to grow into the person that can have all these things. However, I am capable of loving myself on the journey. Yes? So we go from outcome being where I can love myself to experience being where I can love myself. Yeah? So it's an evolution. It's not a getting rid of your goals. It's not a getting rid of what you want. It's not a getting rid of all the things that you're heading towards. It's saying, I don't have to hate myself on the way to these things. And in fact, yes, it's an evolution in understanding that I'm not going to hate myself to where I want to go. I'm going to love myself there. All this self-hate that I think is going to get me the results, all this rejection of myself, all this getting rid of myself, all this trying to fix myself, isn't actually working to get me to where I want to go. But in fact, it's the loving myself where I am right now, this paradox that says if I love and accept myself for who I am right now, I'm actually more likely to grow into this ideal version of myself than I am on the self-improvement path, which says I'm not that already. I hate myself until I'm there. Yes? So this self-love path is an evolution on the self-improvement path. It's taking what was ordered about the self-improvement path, what was true about the self-improvement path. Change needs to happen. I am meant to grow into something greater than what I am right now. These two things are correct. The self-improvement path did not get that wrong. However, like I said, what the self-improvement path needs order and complexity added to it is I can love myself on the journey, and I can understand that actually the journey is the point. The experience is the point. It's not about getting there. Getting there is awesome, and I want to get there, and I definitely want to be on the journey to always be getting there. But that is not where I can love myself. I have to love myself here in order for that to even be possible. That the version of me that I'm trying to become is the version of me that already loves myself. Yeah? So we love myself here, and that actually becomes more possible. Now, the next thing that we can look at here where people think that they're doing the self-love path wrong, okay, is where they're feeling like I'm still having negative emotion. I'm still completely forgetting my practice. I'm still beating myself up. I'm still doing all this stuff. I must be doing it wrong. I don't feel better. I'm not feeling better. I actually feel more emotions. I feel worse in my emotions. I feel worse in my body. I feel worse in my life. The self-love path isn't working. Or I'm doing it wrong. Okay, so what we need to do here, again, is an evolution on that old idea. Number one, we evolve the idea that results right now are what tells us that we're on the right path. Okay? We have to move into this understanding that on the self-love path, we're going to be doing things and traversing territory and expanding into places that we've never been before. We're going to be trying things that we've never done before. We're going to be seeing things that we've never seen before. And what most of us are doing right now in our culture today is we are confusing comfort and security and familiarity with pleasure, happiness, and that which tells us we're on the right track. Okay? So it's actually sticking on the self-improvement path, continuing to believe there's something wrong with you, continuing to see your reflection in the mirror and hate that and decide you're going to go on a diet, or continuing to beat yourself up for your relationships, or continuing to beat yourself up for whatever you beat yourself up for. That actually feels better in the moment when you're really in a panic about it than saying, no, I'm just going to love and accept myself for who I am right now. This new thing isn't going to feel good because it's different. It's unfamiliar. You've never done it before. You don't know what the results of it are going to be. So a lot of us are operating in this, we're doing the same thing over and over and over again, saying we don't like the result. But in truth, we kind of do, right? Because we can predict it. We know how to be that person. We know how to live that life. We know how to go on the diet. We know how to beat ourselves up for the emotions. We know how to suppress the emotion. We know how to withdraw. We know how to get needy. We know how to get rejected. We know how to get all this drama in our lives up and going so that we can feel like we caused this drama and now I'm going to fix it with my new conscious relationship stuff, or my new diet, or my new financial plan, or my new hunkering down on myself, right? It's this idea that the way that we're giving ourselves love right now on the self-improvement path is simply through constantly being in a state of creating a mess so that you can be in a state where you're gonna clean up the mess. Yeah? So we're loving ourselves only in this short period of time where we feel like we've made the mess and now we've made the plan for how we're gonna clean it up. And then we don't love ourselves on the path for when we're cleaning it up, because we usually hate the plan that we've made for ourselves, right? The diet is fun for 5 minutes and then we fall off and then we hate ourselves again. The conscious relationship plan is fun for 2 weeks and then we can't keep up with it and we fall off of it. The budget works for 5 minutes and then you see the new thing that you want to buy and then you got to buy it and then you have debt again and all this, right? We are constantly making these plans that are founded on this idea that there's something fundamentally broken about us that we need to fix so it feels better in the moment because we feel like we're taking control, we feel like we're fixing ourselves, we feel like we're doing what we need to do to be worthy of love, which is fixing ourselves, fixing this broken thing. But the thing that we choose to fix ourselves never actually makes us feel better permanently, right? It makes us feel better for a second, or for a few weeks, or for a few months, or while we're getting results, but then we always fall off and then have to hate ourselves again. Yes, so we gotta start looking at these patterns. It works for a period of time, so we convince ourselves that it's working, we convince ourselves it's this new thing, when really it's the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, colluding or confusing ourselves, deluding ourselves into saying that what we're doing is working because it felt good for a little bit, when really it's just the same thing over and over again. I make a mess, I make a plan to fix it, I approve of myself for 5 minutes while I'm doing it. My plan to fix it can never work because it's not based on anything understanding myself. It's not based on anything actually knowing why I do what I do. It's treating symptoms. Yeah? Never getting to root cause, so it feels good to treat the symptom for a little bit, but because I'm not getting to the root cause, the symptom is always going to get out of control. Okay? So this is what we need to understand about this self-love path, is that the true self-love path says, not I'm going to reject myself for getting back on that self-improvement path. This is what's so awesome about this, okay? It's that we take the self-improvement path. We take our old behaviors, our trying to get back on the wagon, our trying to get back on the diet, our trying to get back, and we observe it. We start to say, okay, this experience means something. Yes, this is the self-love path. I'm feeling all these crazy negative emotions. It's not wrong. It's a part of my path. I went and I did the self-improvement path. It's not wrong. It's a part of my path. What differentiates the self-improvement path from the self-love path, so that we have evolved it, is we start to say, instead of making anything wrong, even making things wrong, okay, so this is a little paradoxical. We say, everything is here to teach me something. Everything has a reason. All of my self-sabotaging behaviors, all of my trying to fix myself, everything that I'm doing that I think I need to fix about myself, it all has a root somewhere. And this root is a false belief about myself or the reality. Okay, now we need to understand again that all of us, okay, on this path, were born into a world that teaches us to abandon ourselves. Yes? Because the world is out of alignment with truth. The way that the world is set up, the way that all the systems we're born into as human beings is set up, is that it opposes life. And you're going to see this the more that you awaken. So if you're like, what are you talking about, Allie? Just look around. Everything on some level is contributing to death. And we learn very early on as children, okay, that in order to be loved, in order to be cared for by our caretakers, we need to be loved by our caretakers. These two things are synonymous. We can't provide our own physical needs. Someone else needs to do that for us. And in order for that to happen, we need to be loved. This would be perfectly fine, okay? Perfectly fine in a society that was completely in alignment with life. Understanding that variation is the key to life, that no one is meant to be like anyone else, and if we were all living in life generation. We're not, okay? So what happens is we are free children operating from, this is who I am. I'm the relative version of God, never been seen before, don't fit into a box. This is how I'm going to live. And also understanding on some level that there are rules to how the universe works that we have to go within. And we are living like that. And at some point, that intersects with the false reality that our caretakers believe in. Yes? So this reality of destruction is what I'm going to call the false reality. Yeah? It's this opposing to life. So now we have this very contradicting, very confusing thing of that which helps me survive right now is that which is out of alignment with my survival long term. That which helps me survive right now, gets my parents to approve of me, is what I have to do, right, is me abandoning myself. That's always where our traumas happen. This is how life really truly is. This is who we're supposed to be. We're allowed to get angry. We're allowed to get sad. These emotions are a good thing. Our emotions are a good thing. We try this, we try that, we make messes. This is how we learn, da 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 da. It doesn't fit in with how our parents think it should be. So we learn that we need to abandon ourselves to get this love and approval and acceptance right now, which is vital for our survival. Now, this we carry on into our adulthood. We still believe as a society that getting love and approval from everyone else is what is keeping us alive. We are all still fundamentally so horrified that if we're rejected by society, if we're rejected by everyone around us, we're going to die. What we need to understand is that the messes that we're creating by being out of alignment with ourselves are not our fault. You were taught that as a child. But the self-improvement path, the self-love path says, all the mess in my life, all the drama in my life, all the chaos, all the things that I create, all the things that I'm doing, all the out of alignment stuff. Number one, my emotions are telling me something real. So that's the first thing in the self-love path. Yes, my emotions are true. If I feel bad about something, it's not because I should feel good about it. I don't know why I feel bad about it maybe, but there's a reason that I feel this way. Underlying all of it, it's because I'm out of alignment with truth. That's not my fault because I was taught that. However, now as an adult, it's my responsibility to fix it. It's my responsibility to become so self-loving that I don't need the society to approve of me so that I can live in alignment with how life actually is and see that that doesn't make me die, that everyone can disapprove of me all they want, but so long as if I'm living in alignment with life generation, I'm living in alignment with life generation and I'm living. So it is not the society's approval that's keeping me alive. This is what we need to evolve. Okay, so the self-love path is not something we can do wrong, so long as we're saying every experience is here to teach me something. Nothing in my life is my fault, but I'm going to take responsibility for all of it because I'm ready to learn and grow and change and become this evolved version of myself by loving the version of myself that I am right now. because to love myself now is to understand why I'm not already that and how to get there. Okay? So if you have questions, comments, concerns, leave those down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.